Oh my gosh, friends, I finally did it. I filled a sketchbook. It's full, and you're about to see, and it's full. Ooh, ooh. Now, I ain't never been with a Betty. She comes right down. Okay. This is one of the very first sketchbooks I've ever bought. It's very pretty, but the paper's actually kind of ass. Let me just quickly scoot on over here and show you this bad boy. I just finished drawing the very last page earlier today, so that's gonna be like a little reveal at the very end. Let's get into it. So here is this pretty boy. I got this bad boy in like 2018 when I didn't know anything about sketchbooks or just paper, but I did know I wanted to get into watercolor. So I saw this and I was like, oh, it's gonna be perfect. It was not perfect. The paper is actually very fuzzy. The paper, yeah, is quite fuzzy and thin, and so I opened the first page and I drew a little mushy with watercolors, and immediately I was like, oh no, this is bad because the paper cannot handle it. So this sets up the atmosphere for this entire sketchbook. Starting off with the mushroomy. Okay. Next up is this little, I guess I was getting into anime at the time. I think I drew this with very little reference, so I'm kind of proud of that, but I think this is the only kind of style of drawing that I did. And the girl was painted on November 6th at 2:41 a.m. Okay, this next boy, probably one of like the best things I've ever made. It came straight from my head, no friend reference or anything. I remember I was like at my ex-boyfriend's house at the time. Well, he was my boyfriend at the time, but now he's my ex. Oh, whatever. I was at my then boyfriend's house when I drew this, and it was just like so important to me that I get it down on paper. And him and his family are kind of like, why is this bitch painting right now? But anyways, it says Halloween sale, and there's little pumpkins, and this guy's a squash, and he's giving everyone the middle finger because he's not a pumpkin. Okay. This was from a camping trip that I did with my then boyfriend and his friend is like really tall, and he was sitting in front of me on like the fishing boat, so I just sketched out his legs. I promise I end up using both sides of the paper eventually, but for now I was only using one side. So this was actually also from the camping trip that I went with. I kind of sketched out what was happening. So his family was playing this game where you like kind of throw something at these pegs, and whichever one falls down is how many points that you get because there's numbers on them. And then similarly, this one too was from the beach. From the camping trip, and I actually just had like sketches of pencil in here for the longest time, and then like this year I was looking through it and it really bugged me that they weren't finished, but it was kind of weird to like reminisce on the time since we're not long together, so I was like, you know what, I'll just color them in so that I can like move on and get some closure in the way. I don't really know if that makes sense, but yeah, these two. It gets better, I promise. I start experimenting a lot more. This one I drew backwards by accident. It's meant to be like flipped the other way. I don't know, I was just really into balls. I was into balls. Yeah, it was just like some balls, and then I drew a little tree coming out of it, and then the leaves I tried to make them bally too, kind of following the curvature of the ball. It was fun. This one was actually part of a sketchbook ideas video I did a while back. It was just like me kind of going free throw with watercolor, and it was quite difficult because the paper doesn't have sizing, so the watercolor just like eats up all the paper eats up all the watercolor, and everything I drew on here with watercolor ends up looking very muted, but oh well. This is just a girl reading. It was kind of cute. I like the opposing colors. This was also part of the sketchbook ideas. I think I put down some like Crayola markers. Like I put it on a piece of glass, and then I put down the Crayola markers and I stamped them on, and then I tried to read the shapes. I'll link the videos that I talk about. Also part of that same sketchbook ideas video, I just put a sticker at the top and I used that as a reference. These are just some faces. This is right around the time when I was experimenting with faces. The watercolor on this side made marks, and so in the back there was just like these blue random blotches, so I decided to turn them into water, and I drew some koi fish, and I really like this page actually. Okay, so this is like a style of technique that you do where you paint first and then you draw in the colors, the lines I mean, later. And then this was just a random plant thing that was around that I drew. I don't know, I don't always have reason for what I draw. Sometimes it just like feels good to doodle. Ooh, okay. These two pages are probably my favorite, even though this girl over here looks like straight out of Avatar or something, and the green eyes really just freak me out, but whatever. These are poor color choices that I made. This is probably one of my favorites. I just really like the colors and like how kind of smooth it is. I like being able to see the lines underneath. I don't know, it's just, I really like this. More faces, probably also some of my favorite pages in here. I really took the time to like draw in some details, especially into this one. And I used Hemi gouache, and gouache for some reason was just like a lot better on this paper, even though it like same consistency as the watercolor, because I use gouache very watered down. Yeah, these are just random pages, a girly walking. I like that like the red pencil is peeking through again. And this up here says, "What greater gift than the love of a cat" by Charles Dickens. Kind of cringy, but sometimes quotes that are really popular are just cringy because they're cliche, because they're known by a lot of people. Okay, this one, another cliche thing that sometimes you just gotta get down on paper. Sometimes like you just gotta draw something simple, not elaborate, have some fun. So just some flowersies, and self-compassion is hard because it is. And then this was another kind of more detailed like face study-ish. I like the little flowers that I drew around, and I like the color combos. I'm just gonna cover this real quick. This I actually did more recently, but it was like an empty page, so I came back and like filled up the page. A simple day. I started using pencil crayons in this sketchbook, and I actually really liked how they looked. So yeah, landscapes are like one of my favorite things to draw, and I liked what I did with the highlights here in the kind of grass and how I drew the clouds, and it's just, I really like this page a lot. This, oi, it was something that I wanted to do, but I kind of like, I didn't have a background. I just started with the girl, and then I messed up her face, so I covered it, and then for some reason I decided to paint her green, and then I just kept adding things, and it was all just looking really bad. So yeah, sometimes these pages happen, and that's okay. I don't like it though. It like kind of makes me a little bit angry, like a visceral reaction when I see it, but okay. These are just some random things. I think I like was looking at stuff on Pinterest, and I really regret like not writing down or saving the actual pins, because it was just like me playing around and not wanting to think about what to draw too much. These were just pages where I just wanted to have some fun, put something down. These are just like little globs, and then I drew little faces on them, like very kind of cartoony-ish, and these are just some flowersies. This was in a vlog a good while back. I was sketching and painting the little plants that we had in our backyard at the time. A tulip with teeth, I love that. This was on May 14th, 2021, and it was a happy day outside. This was for a video that I did. I think it was how to have fun in your sketchbook, and I just put little thumbprints and then I drew little faces on them, and it was in June of 2021. This one looks very like, you know, raw XD. Like the struggles start anew. But it was inspired by Breath of the Wild. If you play that game, you know that like once in a while there will be a red moon, and what that means is that like all of the enemies that you killed respawn. So it's like you never made any progress at all. I fucking hate that. But I didn't make the game, so it's fine. It really is a struggle when that happens though. I get really stressed out. long ass neck lady, not to be confused with the bent neck lady from Haunting of Hill House. Yeah, the long neck was an accident. I didn't mean for that to happen, and it just did. But I quite like her face here. I think the eyes ended up being a little too big, but I was trying to add in a little more detail. I do need a lot more practice with how I do the hair. Yeah, this was just me trying to figure out how to draw faces in a more kind of stylized, cartoony, illustrative way, and I did a bunch. This one kind of scares me, and so does this one, but I like them all. Ooh, this was a phone call with JoJo. I was talking to my friend and I was sketching. I really like these like very simplistic sort of landscapes and stuff. And this is around the time when I started to use my pencil crayons. I think the Prismacolor Scholars a lot more, and so I was doing a lot of landscapes that are really bright and stuff. Same here, let's go to the sea. This was in a video. This was also in a video. I think another sketchbook idea video. Angie, so very Angie, so Angie, very Angie. I love when cats like look really, really evil, and so I drew a little furry friend, and this is another landscape. I really like this, and I think I took myself by surprise because I actually really don't like neon colors, but they were all I had at that time, so I was using them, and I actually really like what it ends up looking like. Some hand studies and more balls. I just really like, you know, it was like a middle school exercise in art class where they made you draw like a sphere, and I still remember it, and like I have the urge to draw them all the time. I think all the hands look good except for maybe this one. I needed to sharpen the pencil more when I got too lazy. This was just like a random doodle page. I really like the colors, and these are mushroomies at the bottom. I like kind of like mystical mushrooms, so I need to draw these more. Another landscape, and then just some patterns and some peaches. I really like doing like repetitive drawings a lot of the time, so I want to like let myself do those more, because I tend to be very like I put a lot of pressure on myself to draw more like stylized and like finished pieces, but it's just a sketchbook, and like I'm supposed to have joy when I'm arting, so it's not that serious. This, I went back again, it was like an empty page, so I came back in September and filled it. It was for my bullet journal setup, and I just needed to like figure out the layout. This was, I think also I was talking to Sandra, and I was like doodling, and then it got out of hand, and yeah, I wanted to have like a surfing lady, but I wasn't using references. Now she kind of looks like Jesus or something walking on water. Okay. This was another one of those paintings I did where I painted first and then drew in the lines later. Central Library, the cat branch, and there's a kitty, and he's saying, "How may I help you today?" And there's different books, and they're all about cats. This is just another little landscape. I think I was trying my best to use watercolors, and it was quite difficult, but it does work. This was again part of my video, another sketchbook video I think, where I just kind of freehand drew stuff. This is again where I painted first and then drew in the lines later. It's okay, I don't like the color choices in this one though. Just a face, she kind of creeps me out. I don't know. This is when I got like a full set of the Prismacolor Scholars, so I swatched them, and then I'm really proud of this one. I even wrote in the corner, no reference, because I didn't use a reference whatsoever. The eyes could use a lot of work, but I really like everything else. Just one of those like pages where like I wish I could draw like this all the time. I don't know how I did it, and I like can't recreate it to this extent, but I really liked the vibes that this was giving. The little doodles of the flowers, the face, and how this ended up. Like, I love this. I just don't know how to do it again. The hand, I picked some weeds. I picked you some weeds because I feel like a lot of like weeds are actually really beautiful, and we just kind of like discard them. I know they're like invasive usually, but okay, I'm gonna move on. This was just some pictures off of Pinterest, I think this one was, and then these were, I was watching The Wind Rises, and I paused the movie at 2 different spots, and then I actually used those scenes as a reference. So if you want to go in and also draw them, here are the timestamps right here. Kind of doodly page, I was testing out how the colors look together, and I don't like this kind of neon-y green with the blue and the red, but it was okay. I like this one a lot more than I like this. I really messed up the form here, and my pencil really needed sharpening. Just practicing some faces. This is already August, and then I don't know what this is, 2 little blobs. One of them is saying "fonks" and the other one is saying "no problem." Oh yeah, also this face really creeps me out. I think this was also another phone call I was having with a friend, so I was just like randomly doodling. Don't really like this for some reason, like it really pisses me off. And then this was me trying out to do like more, what's it called? Sketching, when you sketch like real life. Fuck. You know, I'll put it on the screen because I don't fucking remember right now. This was another one of those where I painted first and then drew in the lines later, and I don't really like it. This one, I was a little bit, okay, it's legal here in Canada. So I was literally just drawing things around me. So like this is the plushie that I have. This is my foot. Oop, my camera just died. Okay, as I was saying, if you have a foot fetish, please behave yourself. This is a little like eucalyptus thing that I have in my room. This was my little graduation bear. These are some of the candles that I have, but actually it's just a candle holder. I don't have the candles. And then I drew some fishes, and I actually really like this page. It was the same thing for this page too. I was I was trying to draw some faces and it was going bad, so then I kind of like made myself focus a little more, and I drew this, and I really like the way that she looks, and I like the way that she looks too. Again, can't really recreate it that well, so then this is probably another one of my favorite pages. I think it was off of picture of Instagram, and then I just kind of like changed the colors and stuff and added little bits and pieces here and there, but I wish I wrote down. I need to get better about that. Then I'm just practicing some faces and some like composition-ish. I don't really know. I really struggle with composition. Like I can draw like separate things, but then when it comes to like putting a whole scene together, it's really hard for me. Okay, these 2 pages, if I could rip them out, I would. And just like nothing was going right. This was supposed to be like a shiny glass, window, and then like window view. And this was supposed to be a girl like sitting at a bar with like a turtleneck, but things got away from me. And the paper is actually not that great for pencils. Like these pencils are pretty waxy, and they just kind of like don't glide very well on the paper because of how shitty the texture is. So honestly, there was nothing on here that I actually liked using except for maybe just pens, but I don't really like to draw with pens very much. Then we got 2 faces. I think I was also, I drew these, and then I came back another day and just added the stuff around it. I like it. I think this was just a random YouTuber I was watching, and this was just a random face. I like how I did the nose and the things, but the eyes still really do need a lot of work. This was just one of those practice things. I don't like it, but it's realistic. Like this is how sketchbooks should look, practice and stuff. We're getting to the end here, but these are more landscapes. I was trying to be a little more loose about it, and I really like them. At the top it says, although I can't fully shield you, I can lessen the blow, because there's a mushroomy hiding underneath like a really small thingy. This one says, come, let's go away to the cottage. These are quotes that I made up, and sometimes I cringe when I look back at them, but that's okay. Then we got some practice. I tried to incorporate bodies together with the faces, but I'm really bad at bodies right now. These are just more cartoony faces and some vines that I did. This was part of like a tutorial, I think. I was just looking at someone draw like one line drawings on Pinterest, or no, on Skillshare, and you were supposed to do a left hand and a right hand. My pencils also really needed sharpening, but this was a really good time. It says, why did they have to say that? I don't know why, I don't know. But I really like drawing it like this. I didn't use a reference. I just kind of like put colors down and shapes down, and it turned out really nice. Maybe I'll do a tutorial on this sometime. More landscapes. I actually really like these. They're supposed to be more of like night scenes, and this is my quote, and it says, "Take a walk at night to remember the stillness of the world." Yes, I need to incorporate more like poetry and stuff. And this is something I wish that I did with the sketchbook more, is I wish that I used it more of like an art journal where I like mix media and stuff into it rather than trying really hard to like make use of the paper. This, painful. I like this. I just wish that I didn't make all of these like little marks around, but I was just practicing some faces. And also this, I need to get better about shading and stuff. I'm always worried that like it'll ruin the form of it. Then we have another landscape. I cannot express how much I love doing these with like a border and stuff. It's really fun, and it's like really mindless and easy. And then I did some sketches, character sketches, just random pictures on Pinterest and on the internet. And I wrote like a little mood thing. So this one says moody, this one says gone with the fairies, this one says unbothered, sleep deprived, and yikes, because I messed this one up. These I did as part of a video that hasn't come out yet, but it says, I bought you a plant, and I haven't actually finished this. I don't know if I will, because it was like end up being too much detail, but it's just a horsey and what's supposed to be like little water patterned things. Coming to the end, hee. This is also as part of a video that hasn't come out. This was just a little sketch of a tree, it was a rubber plant that we have in the basement, and then I added like 3 separate colors to it to make it kind of seem like it was a little bit trippy. And then this was just a really simple, sometimes you gotta do like aesthetic pages like this. I really like just like small things in the middle, or like using limited colors. And we're nearing the end. This is a weird sort of poem. I don't know if I like it, but I didn't know how to use the back of that page since the marker made like really deep markings on the side. But it says, I need to know the truth, and so I want an answer, but the truth is fickle and the answers keep on changing, but still I need to know, and so I keep on asking, and nothing really changes. And then this was a little kitty, and I just drew lines and stuff. I was also, so repetition really comes in handy. I get really relaxed, and yeah. And you guys ready for the very last page? Last page dance, last page dance. Oh no, I need a new one. This was my daylight dance. Last page, nope. Last page dance, last page dance. Okay. And ta-da! I literally drew this like a few hours ago. It's mushroomies. And it says finished on December 10th, 2021. Ta-da! I actually love drawing mushrooms. I need to let myself do that more. So yeah, folks, this has been the one with the bad paper. I named all of my sketchbooks, and yeah, this one was the one with the bad paper, because honestly the paper sucked a lot. And at first it was actually very freeing because the paper was so shitty. I like didn't think about using it, and I never felt like I was wasting paper. By the end though, it was just getting in my way. Like there was no medium that I actually wanted to use in this, and so I was getting really grumpy about actually painting and stuff. This page is like stuck. That's it for my very first sketchbook tour. I know I was very chatty. Some people don't like these kind of ones. Sorry if you don't. But yeah, check out my other videos if you want to. I have lots. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.